morning everybody, happy Sunday. I feel like I've not even been to bed. What an actual night that was. Not only did I firstly fall asleep on the sofa whilst watching Married at First Sight, I then got woken up by Kev at 2 o'clock. I'd already sent him up to bed. He fell asleep whilst watching the telly and was snoring, so I couldn't even hear the TV. So I nudged him, said, go to bed and I'll come up when this finishes. And then in fact, I didn't go up because I fell asleep on the sofa. So he must have woke up at like 2 o'clock, saw that I wasn't in bed, came downstairs, woke me up. I went up to bed, got snuggled in because I was quite cold on the sofa. Woke up and I was like, oh, it's freezing. Snuggled in, went back to sleep. The dog woke me up. So if the dog needs to go out, which he doesn't in the night generally, he doesn't go out, he taps on the back door. So I can hear him, his little paws, up and down the hallway and then tapping the back door. So I got up, trudged downstairs, let him out in the garden. Usually go out, have a wee, straight back in. Let him out, stand there in the hallway and stood there like, come on Charlie, come on Charlie, come on Charlie. Didn't come back in. So I was like, right, called him back in, go back up, get back into bed. No, as soon as I got back into bed, I could hear him again, up and down the hallway, tapping the back door. So I was like, oh my Christ. Got up, let him out again, and then got back into bed. 6 o'clock this morning, the dog's thrown up all over the landing. At that point, I gave up. That was it. I've been up, or I've been awake since 6 o'clock. So don't know what's happened to the dog. He's probably eaten something he shouldn't have. Hopefully that's it now and he's got it out of the system, because that is not a night I want to repeat. I've just dropped Riley and Kev off to rugby. They got to be there for 9, but kick-off isn't until 10. So I didn't want to be down there with the girls from 9 o'clock because it's still quite chilly this morning. So I've come home, I've just made myself a granola and fruit with whatever fruit I've got left because all of the berries are gone. I'm going to have this and then Kev's going to let me know if Riley's starting or not. And then I'm going to go down, watch some of the rugby and then come back. Plan of action for today, it's, you know, it's a typical family Sunday, cosy Sunday. Well, it's not a family Sunday because half of us aren't here. So Jamie and Brooke aren't coming over today because Brooke has a late shift at work, and Reese and Bella alternate what Sundays they have roast dinner. So they're at Bella's parents for roast today. But I'm still cooking a roast, but I've got a massive joint of pork, so it's probably going to be way more than we need. But I've got jobs to do, you know, wash in, clean the bathroom, general housework, and cook a roast dinner. And maybe walk the dog if his stomach will allow it. But before that, I'm going to eat my breakfast.
Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Don't let that brightness in the sky fool you. It is very windy for the flags. And it keeps on and off raining. So I am here. It's currently 20 past 9. Riley is currently warming up. They are, yeah, warming up. I think they're on this bottom pitch, but they're the top pitch, running laps around the field at the moment. So they're probably going to be tired before they start. But yeah, Kaylee is going to come out in a bit because there's no point all of us standing around for an hour because Riley has to be an hour before the match. Sorry, hour before the match. The coffee shop is open, so I might nip and grab a coffee in a minute, and then we'll get on with doing some training. Well, not training, match.
I'm just having a go at making this bread mix that I got from Aldi. The only problem is it says use a mixer with a dough hook for 8 minutes, or mix it by hand for 10 minutes, and it's so stiff. So I definitely, if I'm going to have a go at making our own breads, I need to get a mixer and a dough hook, because this is not fun. I'm really excited about brushing your hair as well.
Is she going with you?
I just said to Sienna, I'm really excited about having to do your hair today because it is literally a mess and Felicity's isn't looking too much better. I thought I'd do this because it says leave it to double in size. And I thought, well, I can leave it whilst I'm at the rugby, and then when I get back, I can put it in the oven. And
I don't think we want it to double in size.
We can have some nice sort of bread, hopefully, for lunch. Garlic and rosemary. It does smell nice. It smells really nice. But I'm not sure how we're going to mix this for 10 whole... we're going to have to just take it in turns. Everyone do a minute at a time.
The Wicked Squash is back.
I saw that last
There's
night.
a new one.
Yeah, I don't know what flavour the new one is, but it's orange.
Wonderfully fruity twist.
Ooh, where does it say? Where does it say it's to? I can't remember where. It was in Sainsbury's last year.
And it was it called Iceland?
Waitrose.
Oh, I'm not going to Waitrose.
And it was Iceland last year, Mum.
Yeah, I think most of the supermarkets did it last year, didn't they?
Are you excited for Wicked? I know I am.
I'm really excited for the new Wicked movie.
Me too.
Oh my days! Today has taken somewhat of a turn. I'm going to explain why, and then I'm going to end this video, and you'll understand once I've explained why I'm ending the video. It's also really warm but really windy, so apologies that those trees are quite noisy. And also, if you don't like talk of illness, sick, blood, those types of things, please switch off now and don't watch the rest of this video, because this morning at the beginning of this video I said that Charlie had been sick. So like humans, dogs, cats can all get sick, and they can just have a bout of sickness, and like a human, you don't eat whilst you're sick and then you eat something bland afterwards. So for us, we'd eat dry toast, and for a dog they eat chicken and rice. So my plan was this morning, after Charlie had been sick, was to follow that course of action. So I picked up his bowl of biscuits off the floor. He wasn't having any more of those, and I'd planned to leave him today to get it out of his system and then introduce some bland food later on this evening if he was feeling better. Went to rugby, and I asked Summer to keep an eye on Charlie. So can you just keep an eye on the dog whilst I'm not here? Please stay downstairs with him, because I don't want him on the stairs, because when I go out he always sits on the landing at the top of the stairs and basically watches and waits for me to come home, and I didn't want him to be sick on the carpet again. So I said, can you stay downstairs with him and just keep an eye on him and keep letting him out, because there was evidence in the garden that he'd been sick a couple of times, but nothing alarming, like, you know, for anyone with an animal, a pet owner will know, like a foamy, like pet sick. So I said, can you just keep an eye on him whilst I go to rugby? So I went off to rugby. I'd been there about 15 minutes and Summer called and said, Mum, you need to come home, and can you come home quickly? I said, what's happened? She said, I've gone up to the toilet, I've come back downstairs and there is blood everywhere. And I was like, okay, I'll call the vets and I'll come home. Now, Summer can be very dramatic. So I said, can you send me a picture of the blood so I know what to tell the vet? So I got off the phone, I looked at Kev and I said, can you give the vets a call? We need to take Charlie in. Summer says that there's blood now in what she thought was vomit. So Kev started to walk off down the field to find like a quiet spot to make a phone call to the vets, and my phone pinged, and it was the video that Summer had sent me of what was in the house. And when I tell you, it looked like someone had been, like, it looked like someone had cut themselves really badly, and it was all over. And I just instantly started like to cry. I was like, oh, like panic. So I didn't even, Reese was stood there with the two girls, and I didn't even say anything. I just ran towards Kev and I was like, we've got to go. Like, just get in the car, we need to go. Called Reese, like, just don't say anything to the girls, but we're going. Called the vets on the way back to the house and said that we would be bringing him in and what had happened. Went home and picked him up. Now, I wasn't sure what to expect when I got home. I was thinking that he was going to be, he'd need to be carried or something, because in the 15 minutes I'd been gone, this had happened, and I didn't think that Charlie would be in any, like, I thought I was going to find like a limp dog. But to anyone that doesn't know Charlie, you'd think that he was absolutely fine. He's still walking, he's still wagging his tail, his eyes are still bright, he looks like a perfectly happy, normal dog. But obviously we know that he's not happy and there's something going on. And I know that he is lethargic because when we go to the vets, because he's quite an anxious dog, he will jump up at me continuously, jump all over me, jump on the seat. So, you know, when I'm ever in the vets with him, I'm like, get off the chairs. The chairs are for people, not for dogs. And he's really, really springy. He's not today. So we got to the vets. He wasn't objecting to being walked. Normally you walk into pets at home and he's fine, but you start walking towards the vet's counter and he's like, hang on a minute. I know where you're taking me and I'm not having it. But he didn't. He continued to be quite quiet for Charlie. Didn't jump on the chairs, didn't jump up on us. So I knew that he was lethargic for his character. So the vet has examined him. Not a very nice examination. I would not want to be Charlie. Kev was holding him and I was just holding his face going, it's okay, it's okay. I'm thinking, you poor animal, this is awful. But the vet did her examination. She said he didn't vomit that blood. It's come out of the other end. Like I said, if you don't like this sort of talk, please don't watch. And that they think the most she's prodded at his tummy and he didn't like jump or whine at being prodded, but she said his tummy is quite hard. So she said the likeliest cause she would think would be colitis, and that could be treated with some medication, but there was also the option to have him scanned, bloods and kept in and checked over more thoroughly. Now Charlie's 11 and we've never, other than him getting unwell after a trip to the beach a couple of years ago and an episode when he was a very young puppy where he was poorly, he's never needed any like extensive vet treatment. And for many years, in fact in his whole life, he's never had like any sort of scans or anything like that done. So because he's now 11 and this has happened, we just have decided we're like err on the side of caution. Rather than just take the diagnosis of colitis and go and bring him home and treat him, and then we may have missed something more serious, we'll go for the scans and the blood test today. So we've left him at the vets. Whilst we were discussing with the vets what to do, he went again an awful amount of bright red blood, and I had to leave. I'm not good with blood at all. Blood hospitals, I'm likely the one that will faint. So I did have to say, Kevin, you're gonna have to deal with this. I've got to go outside. So I had to go outside. Called my mum, composed myself a little before going back in. And they've kept him, so he's currently at the vets. Been there for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. They said they'll probably have him for the rest of today, and they close at 4, so I'm assuming we might hear something very soon. I hope we hear something very soon. Kev's at home driving himself insane. He is googling everything going, trying to come up with a diagnosis himself, and it's just horrible because it's come so out of the blue. Like I said, he was absolutely fine, and then all of a sudden he was sick in the night, and now this. So I've just come over to the supermarket. I was obviously planning to cook a roast dinner and all of that today, and now I'm not. So I'm just going to pop in here, get some essentials for the rest of the day, and then await a phone call from the vets to let us know what's going on. So I'm going to end this video here. I will update tomorrow with what's happened, but please keep little Charlie in your thoughts and prayers, and yeah, I'll let you all know tomorrow when I know what is happening. But for today, I'm going to call it an end because obviously my head is not in it. But thank you for listening, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I will speak to you all tomorrow. Thank you guys. Goodbye.